This is Scott Goldie Project Concert 150, hanging out at Buzzbin. It is January 1st, Friday, and I am here at Northeast Ohio's The Battle, who came in and just slayed this place again with their instrumental stylings. So fucking cool, so fucking good to see you guys again.
Good to see you, man.
It's been only a handful of months, but
August.
Yeah, August. But what's new with the battle?
Well, take it away, Ron. A lot, actually. So in October, the last week of October, first week of November, we went out to Joshua Tree, California, and made a record. We recorded, probably most of it. Probably.
That's the old one.
This is the old one.
It's not out yet.
Yeah, we haven't released it yet.
Oh, you haven't even released it yet?
We haven't.
Oh, wow.
It's still like, we did, Chris and I did some overdubs at our studio at home, and Don did some stuff at his house. We recorded like probably 90% of the record out in a studio called High Lonesome in California, in the desert, out in the desert.
Okay. And does the album have a title or a working title?
Yeah, right now it's called The Last Place on Earth.
The Last Place on Earth.
And what does that mean, Ron?
I mean, it means a lot of things, but for our band it means mostly it's the last place that we ever thought we would get to go. It really was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it was something that, honestly, to be really candid about it, took a lot of planning, it took a lot of money.
A lot of driving.
A lot of driving. What we did was, on a Monday, we flew to Las Vegas on a Monday night. We spent roughly,
not even 24 hours.
Not even a full day in Vegas. We basically spent the night there and part of the next day, and then we drove from Las Vegas to Joshua Tree, which is about 2.5 hours. We made a couple really cool stops on the way. I mean, it's like nothing but a 2-lane highway and the desert, like the whole way. And then you're in Joshua Tree all of a sudden.
That's kind of the point of that title, is like, not like it's the last place that you would ever think that you would be, but it feels like if something happened to the planet, like that would be the last place left standing. Because there's so much nothing out there that people wouldn't go there. So if a catastrophe happened, that would be the last place left for people to go to. So it's kind of, it's kind of a double meaning in that sense, in that your first impression is that it's the last place that you'd ever want to be, but that's not really how we mean it at all. I mean, it's more like what I just said.
But for us, it was like the first place. It was like the only place for us to think about to go to make an album. We went out there and we didn't travel with any gear. I think Chris and I took one guitar each. We shipped some pedals out, but everything else was in the studio.
Oh wow!
So it was like totally, everything was completely foreign, and it was just really weird. It was like you almost had to relearn how to play all the songs that we spent months practicing. It was. I mean, it's really hard to put it into words. How it was. You're how do you put into words the first time you ever see something, but you're in your 40s. We're seeing landscapes and objects or plants or trees or animals. The first night we were out there, this crazy little mouse thing came up to us, and we're like, "What is that?" It's got a
hello, crazy little mouse thing.
It's got the tail's 2 feet long, but the body's 3 inches big. It's
it was quick, man. It was moving.
It's what is that thing?
What do we name it?
Zizix the mouse.
Zizix the mouse.
Yeah. But all of that, I think, it totally came out in the recording.
Okay.
It was, everything was very like intentional. There's almost some hesitancy to it because we were learning new amps, new guitars. Don played a totally different drum kit.
So the point of the whole thing musically was to make it sound like we want it to sound like a battle record, but we want it to sound entirely different. So that means different gear. When you sit down behind a different drum set, you play it differently. When you pick up a different bass, you approach it differently. And the whole idea was to approach everything there, like not the way we play it in the basement at Ron's. So we do that over and over and over, and there's a certain kind of monotony that comes with that. So while we were trying to do the tracks, we wanted to still capture the change in location and the new instruments and what it sounds like to make yourself a little bit uncomfortable doing something you can do, but just have it be a little bit unfamiliar and then let that influence it.
Yeah, we purposely went out of our element to make sure that it had a different feel. The record had a different feel than the first one.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
no doubt,
incredible.
no doubt.
I think we totally achieved it.
Do you guys have a release date yet?
Yes, yeah, early June, I think.
Early
Yeah,
June.
we're calling it tentatively in the late spring.
Okay.
We're sort of in the wrapping up some overdubs that we can do at home, and we're looking at our mixing options, and from that point we'll have the rest of the production figured out. Ideally, we'd like to get back to Joshua Tree to be able to do the mixing where we did the recording.
Okay.
But we
Any
think that all when it's
shameless plug time.
I don't know.
Any ideas on where you might do the album release party at yet?
Oh yeah, I mean Buzzbin for sure.
Oh, hey, if you want to do an album release here, we would love to have you at Buzzbin.
Yeah, that would be great. But it's very weird to talk about, but like it costs a lot of money to go out there, and we have an Indiegogo campaign up and running right now.
Well, shoot.
For people to donate to us. It sounds very selfish, and in a way, it is. We won't lie about that. We want to go back, but at the same time, we don't really have like $3,000 to throw down to do that. We have to pay for airfare for the studio time, for lodging, and what else? Oh, all the stuff
Food.
that people get
Yeah.
when they donate. You donate money, you get something back. You're not just giving us money. You're going to get stuff back from that.
CDs or
CDs, T-shirts.
Yeah, we're basically asking people to pre-order our record,
Okay.
pre-order T-shirts and whatever would come with it.
to help fund it.
Yeah. Because it feels right to do that because, most of the time, we're not on a label. We have to do everything ourselves. So, these other bands that record in 5 different studios and mix it in 3 different studios and have it mastered somewhere else, they don't really have to worry about paying for that stuff, but we do. That's just one of the struggles of being like an independent band.
And especially at this point in our lives too, we're all in our 40s.
Yeah.
We can't, we've got families and we've got jobs. We can't drop everything and go on a 2-month long tour and get the funds that way. So we have to depend on alternative efforts.
Alternative funding sources, revenue streams. So yeah, but if we can't get back there, then we can't get back there, and we'll figure out a way to get it done. But for us, I think we all believe for us to put out the best album that we can is to go back there to finish it where it really started. And we're a long way away from our goal, but we still have time on the campaign to get that. But I mean,
There's
it's
like 16 or 15 days left on the
yeah.
campaign
So
for now.
basically, like the end of the month, really.
Okay.
So
We also got some filming done for the documentary. that
yeah. So
we're
yeah,
working
yeah.
on.
We videoed a lot of stuff, and Don's editing it to get all together.
Yeah, it was just a lot of, so we had a minivan, and I drove the minivan a lot. They filmed a lot of it, but there were some times that I had to film with just what we could do with our phones, basically, and just trying to capture what that trip was like for us.
Okay.
Sort of give a glimpse into what a trip like this would entail, just as a band trip, and then what it's like to be in the studio and sort of a look behind the curtain, kind of.
So how are you gonna publish the documentary?
It's I'm slowly working through a lot of the footage. It's really it's probably actually a little more than I thought it would be in terms of looking through the footage. Because I realized oh my god, I've taken so much footage. Just going through and trying to parse through. We sat down. I sat the guys down and did some interview questions. Those parts shape up really easily for them to give their responses to a kind of a variety of questions. But it's also meant to sort of give people a look into what that part of the world is like what that part of the United States is like. I think it's an area that people are curious about, that people don't really go to. And to kind of frame that around the idea of making an album out there is kind of what I'm going for, but to also sort of highlight what it's like for us to go through that process. Some of the stuff that comes out will be really used for promotional purposes, and it may only ever be for our own posterity or whatever, just for us to have a video documentation of it. But
Hey, I know all about video documentation.
right, no, you do. So, but that stuff will come out eventually. Will come out on our website,
Okay.
and our YouTube channel. I forget what it is, but you can. If you search the battle on
Probably link
YouTube,
to
you can find it there. Or
Probably
you
a
can
link through our website.
go to thebattle.us, which is our website, and you
Okay.
can find all those videos there. But I'll end up piecing it together and make it as long or as short as it needs to be to sort of tell the story of going out there, making the album.
Well, just look
And all of
at
that
some
stuff.
kind of monster and go with that.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that. And then release it, but then also sort of tell the story of what it's like to be back here,
Mhm.
and then in finishing the album and then releasing it, what that all means for us in terms of what we put ourselves through.
Awesome.
And that kind of thing.
Okie doke. Well, it was great to see you guys again.
Good to see you
And
too.
I know this is going to happen again and again and again down the road. So until next time, my
thanks for
friends.
letting us talk again.
Yeah, have a good one. Be safe getting back to all parts of Northeast Ohio.